Hello, hello?
Hello?
Hello? Is anyone out there?
It's
a mom's night out.
This week, we are joined by my good friend and the founder of Buzzkill Wines, Molly Fedick. Molly is a badass entrepreneur who's shaking up the non-alcoholic wine world. In this episode, Molly shares why she started a non-alcoholic wine brand, what sober curious really means, hint, it's not all or nothing, and the moment she realized she wanted to cut back on drinking. Molly keeps it real about the cultural shift away from alcohol, discusses how to talk to your friends who maybe aren't being so supportive about your decision, and dives into the misconceptions around alcohol-free living. Personally, I recently took a break from alcohol, and I have to say it was truly eye-opening. If you've been feeling like maybe you want to cut back on the booze, this episode is for you. Enjoy. Welcome, Molly, to A Mom's Night Out.
Thank you. So happy to be here, even though I'm not a mom. Yay.
You don't have to be a mom.
I know. We're drinking Buzzkill, so we just wanted to tell the audience that we are doing that.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Right.
And so I think I said this in the intro, but Molly and I went to BU together. Although we actually, I feel like, never really hung out. We had a mutual friend.
No, I was scared of Katie. I thought Katie didn't like me.
Which is so hilarious. No,
it was one time. I've told you this story. One time we made eye contact at Tees, which is our college bar, and I felt like she was giving me not a mean look, but don't talk to me.
I was probably hammered.
This girl doesn't like me.
I was probably drunk, and we both like talky guys. So
I think that was honestly probably part of the problem.
The competition.
You had the better end because she was a hockey player, so I was just some rando.
I'm dead.
Oh God,
I'm dead. Wait,
I love
Jenny.
it.
You had a question for Molly.
Wait. So I was doing a little digging on your Instagram.
Okay.
And
She's like, oh no.
I know.
It's good. It's good.
I saw that Hannah Berner follows you.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys friends? Are you a giggler?
I'm not a giggler. So Hannah and I knew each other. I've actually never seen Summer House. Hannah and I knew each other way back when we first moved to New York, and she was working at Betches, and I was contributing to Betches, and then I got the job at Hinge, and so we kind of were running in the same circles.
Okay, so let's get right into these questions. Tell us, well, you started a non-alcoholic wine brand. Tell us why. Tell us why.
All right, so I started the brand because, I think that first story that I told was pretty good indication of why I started it. My life was pretty crazy in New York. I was living there working at Hinge. And I think honestly, you can only go so long in that, go on a million first dates, go to happy hour brunch, bottomless mimosas, work drinks, friend's birthday. At some point it gets to, a spot where every single day or almost every day I felt like I was drinking. And my life was just so fast paced that I didn't realize what was happening, I think, or how fast paced it was and how chaotic it was until COVID happened. And I'm a really, really social drinker. I've never been the type to have a cocktail or a glass of wine even by myself at my house. And so when COVID happened and I had nothing to do anymore and no social life, I was oh my gosh, I think I'm going to stop drinking for a while and see what happens. And that's kind of where it went. So I stopped drinking for 9 months, and during that time, I really wanted a glass of wine and just Googled the product. I was does non-alcoholic wine exist? I just wanted to drink the product. So that's why I started it.
Wow. I love that.
That's no better reason.
Definitely a relatively new brand. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you completely alcohol free, or are you sober curious?
No. And I don't even know if sober curious is a great term. No, I still drink sometimes, pretty rarely, but I don't putting, for me personally, I've gone back and forth on this, and what I've settled on for me that works is I just drink when I feel like it, but I've now experienced so much life without alcohol that I don't feel like it most of the time. So if someone says do you drink, I'll be yeah, once in a while, but I feel so awful, you guys, after I drink now, that it's it's totally like, it's going to have to be like really, really worth it for me to even want to go there.
I appreciate that so much. I feel like when you step away from it and then you go back, you're like, wait, why am I doing this?
You realize how bad you actually do feel. Even the next day, it's awful.
Or like,
if I drink on like a Friday, I think a couple weeks ago I had like 2 tequila sodas. My whole weekend was shot. It was it was over. And I think that must be old age, because that did not happen when I was in my 20s.
Wait, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah, it very well could be. But I agree with you. I feel like I sleep bad. I eat bad. Yep. It's like a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. And especially when you've got like, a lot of things that you're trying to accomplish, you just can't afford the days that you miss with the brain fog and all that.
Okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about the term sober curious, because I feel like it's becoming a buzzword. I'm seeing it everywhere. What does that mean?
So sober curious, I think there's a few definitions, but to me, and the way that I hear it used most of the time, is people who are interested in potentially like cutting back on alcohol in some way, but they're not ready to take the full plunge into, I don't drink alcohol at all. So that's like a middle step, I would say.
Okay.
I know. I love that term.
I love the term.
Okay. So you kind of touched upon it already. Like, did you have an aha moment really when you were like, whoa, I really need to cut back on alcohol, or like I want to cut back on my alcohol consumption? Or was it like a slow?
It was definitely, I wish I could say there was like one defining moment, because I feel like that makes for a better story, but there really wasn't. Like, I think for me, it was just like an accumulation of little things, which again, I feel so strongly about this, because so many people come to me and ask me like, well, I sent some embarrassing texts, or I did something I regret, or I don't necessarily remember getting the Uber home or whatever. Like, should I fully quit drinking? Am I an alcoholic? And I'm like, look, only you can answer that for yourself. But I think there's a lot of gray area in the middle of like responsible drinker and alcoholic. I think most people honestly are like in this space that are kind of thinking like, ooh, I want to like look at my drinking and think about how I'm doing it. And so for me, that was definitely the case. I would consider myself like someone in the middle, where it was just like, a series of like tiny little things like building up over a long period of time that I was like, hey, this is not working for my life anymore, and I need to stop. And I'm so thankful that, very luckily, I'm someone that I was just able to be like, no. And I just stopped one day.
Yeah.
Amazing. No, I know it's such a personal journey of, you got there. If somebody is listening and they're kind of thinking, oh my gosh, do I have a problem? Like, what do you think are common signs that somebody maybe should evaluate cutting back on alcohol?
I think if it even pops into your mind, like I might have a problem, I think that's the sign. I think that you are the one that decides because it's not just like, I think the term even I have a problem is associated with AA and alcoholics. And you might not be like a classic alcoholic, but if drinking for you is causing problems, then I think maybe that's the point when you're like, hey, maybe I should take a look at this.
I love that so much. I feel like for me, it was, I told you and I talked recently, like I took a break just for 6 weeks, but that felt like a long time. And I was like, wow, like the way I got there, like every time I drank, even if it was a glass of wine, the next day I was having like severe anxiety. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to feel like this. So I love that. Yeah. Like it was like a slow build up over time. And like this little voice in my head that was like, do you even like drinking anymore? And I was like, I didn't. But like you feel the social pressure to drink.
Yes. Yeah. There's so much social pressure. And if there's anything that I still struggle with at this point, it's still that. It's like you're in an environment where everybody else is drinking. And it's hard to be like the only one that's not. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to yeah, right. Q and Buzzkill. But even then, it's sometimes a little bit hard, right? Because like, I don't like to pretend, like, I think a lot of people in the non-alc community like to pretend that like you get to this certain point where you're just like, yeah, like everything's fine, like blah, 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 whatever. And like, you don't care. And like, maybe that is true for some people, but I think it is like, I've been on this path for like 3 years, and I think it is annoying to be around people once they get like super drunk. It's just not as fun, like, so I think that's just like the reality for me, but to each his own.
I feel that way now with my age. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be around people that are super.
Yeah, like if you're falling over, slowing your words. Like that's not for me.
Maybe
No, but even at like let's say you're at like a game or something, like a hockey game, and like everyone around you is like slamming beers or like cocktails, whatever. It's like at the end of that, if I'm not drinking, like I just want to go home. And everyone else is like,
Yeah,
100%.
No, I get that. Okay, let's pivot slightly. There's some new data correlating with how alcohol consumption increases the risk of cancer, which is not surprising. How do you think this will affect people's drinking? Are they paying attention?
I think people are paying attention. I think those types of studies come out and they really scare people. And I think it's good that they scare people. Again, like I'm, obviously not a scientist, not a doctor. But I think, anything that's wellness forward, anything that you can do to make yourself like less susceptible to bad things happening to you, you should do them. So, I mean, nothing bad is going to happen if you cut back on alcohol. We know that for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, but fair point.
Data shows it's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, data shows it's good for you for sure.
Well, and on that same point, I feel like and you know this tenfold because this is like the space that you're in. Regular alcohol sales are down across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Is it the Gen Z folks? It's not the millennials.
It is partially millennials. So there's so there's so many reasons alcohol sales are down. So millennials are drinking less. I honestly think it's probably because of like our life stage and our age. Like when you get into the spot in your life where you're just like more chilled out and you have more responsibilities, like you're married, you have kids, you have a big job, whatever it is, you just don't have room, I think, for that anymore. People are also more wellness focused now than they ever have been. And in addition to that, it's so funny because during the pandemic, as we know, like everyone was drinking a ton. And I always joke, like, I think I'm the only one who drank less during the pandemic than I did like pre-pandemic. And, but I think like people realized like, oh my God, like they got to their rock bottom almost in the pandemic with alcohol. And then the pandemic sort of tapered off. And then they were like, whoa, like I got to chill out here. And that sort of correlated with that same period of time as people getting married, having kids, like all of these things happening. So it's like for millennials, I think that's what's going on. For Gen Z, I think it's definitely one, like a wellness play for sure. But then in addition to that, like Gen Z just doesn't have money to go out. Like no one has money. Like we had money and it also wasn't as expensive to go out, when we were like
so
in our 20s. It's like, I go out now and I'm like, a cocktail's like $18. And I'm like, excuse me?
It's so insane. I recently was like appalled. I had one drink by myself at an event and I was like, $25.
I know. Yeah. It's wild.
It's totally crazy.
Like,
so there's that.
T's Pub was slinging, dirty martinis for like $6.99.
I actually was thinking about this, trying to remember like how much drinks were in college. I don't even remember. Like it must have been so cheap.
I know. Well, you can get like dollar draft beers. Like that's not a thing anymore.
We were not buying them. The dudes were buying them.
True.
I know. It's like the most asshole thing being kid. You're like, I don't know how much things cost.
Well, I'll tell you, I bet the guys aren't buying the drinks now because they're so expensive.
There's definitely no college guys buying $25 cocktails. That's for sure. There's not even 35-year-old men buying $25 cocktails.
Honestly.
All right, let's shift gears again. So what's a common misconception you want to clear up? I can't even speak right now.
No, you're good. Are you drunk?
Yeah. Is there actually alcohol in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Major placebo effect.
Imagine. All right. What is a common misconception you want to clear up about being sober or sober curious?
I think the biggest misconception in this area is that people think like you must have had something go really, really wrong in your life for you to stop drinking. But like, it's almost like it's the craziest thing ever that you don't drink. I got it so much more when I started the company 3 years ago. We've come so far in 3 years, even from like the acceptance of this movement. It's totally normal now for me to meet people that are like, yeah, I just don't drink. And then it's like, if you prod a little bit, because obviously I'm interested in people's reasons, they're like, honestly, I just like, I don't really feel like it anymore. I don't like how it makes me feel, or like I, work out too much, or my job got too crazy, or whatever it is. And there's no like, oh my God, like harrowing moment. So I think we're going to start seeing that that's actually like the majority of people that don't drink really are in that category. And the other thing, one fact that I learned that like blew my mind is that, but I want to make sure I say this right. 10% of people purchase 90% of the alcohol. So yeah. So like the people that drink a lot in the United States are actually a small person. It's not 10% of the people drink. It's just that 10% of the sales are coming, or 90% of the sales are coming from 10% of the same customers. So it's like mind blowing. So actually there are a lot of people that don't really drink that much at all. But if you're someone that drinks a lot or have in the past, you are under this like conception that like everybody drinks all the time. And it's just not true.
Whoa. Wow, that is a staggering stat.
But I think that is so true though. Whenever, I mean, it is a big misconception. Whenever you hear somebody is sober, I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'm always like, I wonder what happened to make them
I've recently had like a mind switch. And then I feel like when you are drinking less, you start to notice the people that are drinking less or that don't drink. We went out to an event recently and some moms who I probably never noticed weren't drinking. Before I would have been like, she's pregnant.
Yes.
But, right. But like, she had the same reason. She was like, I just don't like how it makes me feel. But I'd never even noticed that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You also just don't notice, at least for me, like when I stopped drinking for the most part, at first I thought I would still want to go out and like hang out in bars. And I did a little bit. But then I was like, I don't want to be in bars anymore. And then I like switched up my social life and it became about like yoga and like walking, like all this like stuff that I used to make fun of people for. And then I get into these separate social groups and I'm like, oh my God, there's like a whole world of people who never go out in the way that I'm used to it. And it's like, it was like mind blowing to me.
I know. That. I do too. I want to be invited on some of those events.
Me
those
too.
People, if you're listening, I don't need to just drink.
I agree.
Okay. Going back to the non-alcoholic wine, are there some misconceptions that you want to clear up about non-alcoholic wine?
Yeah, it's not grape juice. Everyone always says that. It's funny because I did a tasting the other day in a grocery store here in LA, and I get all the common questions, right, when I do tasting. So it's like, oh, so it's grape juice? And I'm like, no, it's not. So there are non-alc wines that are not actually wine. They're more like proxies for wines, but Buzzkill is actually wine. So it's an alcohol removed wine. So it is totally wine. We just take the alcohol out. And that's definitely the biggest misconception. So it's the same way they make non-alc beer.
So cool. And I think that was when you and I were first talking about it. You know, people are like, there's no alcohol in it. It should be cheaper. But you're like, no, it's the same process, right? You're removing it.
So it's actually more expensive. It's more expensive to make non-alc wine because there's an extra step involved.
Right.
The removal of the alcohol.
That
was fascinating to me.
But you would never know that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
We're here to educate the people.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do honestly get that though. Like the whole thing about pricing, I think that's like a huge problem in the non-alc space is like these drinks are really expensive, I think. Yeah. And I even think Buzzkill is pretty expensive, like for what it is. So I'll let you guys in on a little secret. So we are moving to bottles for many reasons. But the bottles are actually going to be priced lower. I can't say like what exactly the price is going to be yet, but like substantially lower than what our 4-pack cans are, just for many reasons. But I'm happy to bring that like price to the consumer because I don't think you should it's already enough to ask the consumer to be like, hey, try this new thing, try non-alc wine, without slapping like a massive price tag on it. So I think if there's a conception that it should cost less, then you should do what you can to make it cost less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, I will say the access was easy, like Amazon.
Yeah.
It's wild that
we Amazoned
you
it
can purchase it on Amazon.
I love it.
Yes, you can purchase it on Amazon.
It really is. It tastes just like wine.
Tastes like,
I know.
yeah,
I think we're
really
drinking
good.
sparkling
the
Sauvignon
sparkling.
Blanc.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
So when I was doing the tasting the other day, I literally have stopped being like, hey, do you want to try non-alcoholic wine? Because like 9 out of 10 people will be like, ew, no. So I just go, hey, do you want to try some wine? And everybody goes, yes. And then they're like, this is so good. And like, I think most people pretend like they know stuff about wine, including myself. But like, you don't really know that much about wine. And so they're like, wow, this has such nice body, blah, blah, blah. And then I go, yeah, well, it's got no alcohol in it. And that's the best way to sell people on it because they can't believe it.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's in line with, okay, so let's say you've decided to stop drinking or you're newly sober curious, so you're drinking less. And people are heckling you. Like, I feel like friends, we talked about it in the social pressure. Like, you know, if you go out and say you're not drinking, people are like, why? What's the matter? Oh, you're no fun. Like, what's a one-liner that you would give to the girlies listening to say, spit this back at your friend that's heckling you for not drinking?
I literally just, if somebody heckled me, which they have a million times in the past, to just be like, that's why this is called Buzzkill, is because I'm like, yeah, I'm a Buzzkill. I'm the biggest loser because I'm not drinking. And you just like say back to them what they're saying to you. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, I sound like such a jerk right now.
I love it.
And by the way, the people that do that are always the ones that are secretly in the back of their mind questioning their own habits.
Yeah.
1000%.
Totally.
I agree.
Is that
because you would never make fun of someone for that otherwise, you know?
I love that.
Is that where the name Buzzkill came from?
Yeah, it came from, I came up with the name when it was mid-pandemic. I was living in Lake Tahoe and we were doing these like outdoor, like socially distanced, like après ski things during the pandemic. And I wasn't drinking and some dork called me a buzzkill. And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Look who's laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's actually funny because they carry it now in some bars in Tahoe. And I'm like, I wonder if that guy ever saw it in there.
Imagine he remembers that moment.
Imagine.
Yeah.
So fun.
All right. Well, to dig a little bit further along, like the people, not necessarily heckling, but even that just struggling to understand why you want to be sober or even drink less. If you're getting pushback from either your friends or your spouse, like what, I don't know, I guess just
what can you do? I know.
Tips. Like what would you
well, I think first of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that it's really hard. Like I think Katie, you may have said at the beginning, it's such a it sounds so Oprah, but it's like such a personal journey when you start going through this. I don't think I realized how, I don't want to say like how important alcohol had become in my life, but like how present, I guess might be the right word. It had become it's just everywhere. And until you start like taking it away, you don't realize that there's actually like a major emotional component to, you know, the occasions that you might drink, or like people drink when they're sad, they drink when they're celebrating, they, you know, drink to connect with others. It's like a very, very emotional thing. So I think almost letting yourself go through, if you have to, like, it sounds dramatic, but like a grieving process, if you're changing up the way that you drink, I think that's totally normal. I mean, like I spent a lot of time by myself for like the first like 6 to 9 months that it was after that initial first 9 months. Then I went back to drinking. Then I cut it off again. And then I was like, you know what? Like it took me a few times. And I just remember like once I sort of got in the rhythm, it was because I took some time to just like literally like weekends at home by myself after work, watching TV. Like I just couldn't put myself in environments where everybody else was going to be doing that. Like I had to change a lot of my friends. There's like so many things that happened when I changed my lifestyle. It's not just like cutting out a drink all the time. Right. And I hope that doesn't scare people because like, to be totally honest, like my life has gotten 8 billion times better since I've gone down this road.
Listen, if a friend can't accept that you're no longer going to be drinking, you don't want that person in your life.
they're not
Like, that seems absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even so much like, sure, like I had like 1 or 2 people like that, but it was more like I didn't want to do the things that a lot of my friends were doing anymore. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to get up and like, you know, power walk around the block and like get a coffee and a croissant at 8 a.m. And they wanted to be like sleeping until 11 and then like going out for bottomless mimosas, which look, no shame in the game. I was there for many, many years. I just moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love how you talked about the grief, because I can imagine that to be something heavy that maybe people are not expecting, and to know, and I'm sure there's like support groups out there that they can, of other people that are going through the same thing, that would be really important.
I've never heard anybody talk about it, to be totally honest. Like if you're someone that's a social drinker, because I can't really speak for people. That was never me, like drinking by myself, but like if you're a social drinker, I think that is such a, like, it was intense for me being like, oh my God, I'm no longer like doing happy hour the same way as other people. I'm not celebrating a dinner the same way as other people. It just was like, whoa. And it really, really forces you to confront like who you are and like what you think about things outside of like what society expects of you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Have you heard of the term zebra striping before?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I mean, I think it's a dorky term, but I'm a zebra striper. I mean, I will have like a drink and then go to non-alc, and then like, especially if I'm like doing something active, like I remember I used to like go skiing and I would just like slam drinks at lunchtime or something. But like now it's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll have a drink and then do like 2 non-alc beers and then like keep the day going. And honestly, I think if you're somebody that's like interested in cutting back on alcohol, it's a really, really good way to get things started and like move in that direction.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've had non-alcoholic beer at Ski Mountain before, because you just want, or I'm used to it. It's like a routine that you get in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, do you have Buzzkill the next time I go up to the...
Oh my God, please do.
You gotta get it at your mountain.
I know.
Yeah.
We do.
Where do you ski? I'll make sure I reach out.
Killington. Pay attention,
perfect.
Killington.
Yeah, I've skied at Killington many times. I'll make sure.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like there's also just something like having this feels like you're doing what you're used to doing. So I love that, you know, this non-alc brand Buzzkill is like a good segue into if you want to start cutting back, like to just not go cold turkey and be drinking like soda water when you go out now, but to like be able to have like a non-alc something in your hand.
Yeah.
Feels like you're still participating, and it's like a good segue into it, right? And there's so many options now when you go
so many
to
so many options. Yeah, and if they don't have options, my like secret hack is if I want a glass of wine, I'll order the wine and then I'll ask for another wine glass and put like with soda water in it, and I'll just like make little spritzers all night with one glass of wine. So it's like cheaper and healthier. And then I also do that with cocktails. So I'll be like, I want like a tequila soda. I'll ask for the tequila separate from the soda, and I'll just make my own drink all night using like one shot.
Wait, that's genius.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you're participating.
Yeah, exactly. Because some places don't have like non-alc stuff.
You're walking out with a $25 bill. Everybody else is a couple $100.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Okay, wait, we're going to manifest right now. Yeah. You recently just, I feel like, did a investor raise for your brand. If you could manifest a celebrity investor for your brand, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Martha Stewart or Bethany Frankel.
Ooh.
Oh,
those are two great ones.
I could see Martha Stewart for sure.
I can see that.
She is such a queen. Her Instagram is my favorite social media account on the planet.
Same.
Like that's what I want to be like when I'm an old lady.
Do you think she has someone younger who's like doing it all for her?
No, I think that's the beauty of it is she like barely knows how to type. She like all her pictures are blurry or like way over filtered. Like it's just it's gold. I love it. I want to be just like that.
Pictures are my absolute favorite when she does those. I'm like, Martha.
I know.
They're so good. And she looks so good.
She looks
so
unbelievable.
hot. I also like Bethany Frankel. I feel like we could get that for you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we need to clip this. Bethany Frankel, call Molly.
Call me, Bethany. I know she's invested in a mocktail company, but this is different, Bethany. This is wine.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. We need her. So Bethany, we're calling you.
I know.
She's also just like very no nonsense. I feel like she goes with the brand.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Oh,
would get
for
along
sure.
with her.
For sure.
Mhm.
All right. What's next for Buzzkill? I mean, you told us about the bottles, which is super exciting.
So we're going to be going through a rebrand. So this is going to look different also. Yeah, it's a pretty big rebrand. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, we're going to be going to bottles. And other than that, just honestly like expanding all over the country. We're in 29 states, I think.
Wow.
Growing every single day.
You're a young brand. You're 3 years old. Like,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane.
I can't even tell you guys like how even this like blows my mind. Like I didn't have any food and beverage experience. I didn't know what I was doing. I thank God I didn't know what I was doing because I don't know if I would have done it. But it was like learning a new language when I started this business. And I'm like, it blows my mind that I've gotten this far, especially with like so little. Like some companies raise a lot of money and like I really haven't. And so it's just been kind of like a wild journey. Yeah, but besides that, I also just started this thing called the Buzzkill Club on Substack. So I get a lot of people that ask me like questions like you guys are asking me. Like I think that if someone starts thinking they want to cut back on drinking, they're like, oh, I don't have, who do I talk to about this? Like they feel very alone. And there's also so many people that are like, I'm not an alcoholic, but I think I don't want to drink as much anymore. Yeah. And there's like no resources for those people. Yeah. So that's why I started this, was just to sort of be like an online place where I could share my experiences and chat with people. And I just think it's important to have like very non-judgmental space that isn't necessarily about full sobriety, because there's so many people that don't know if they want to be fully sober or not. They're not ready yet. Yeah. And so it's like supporting that group of people, I think, is really important.
Wow.
I love that.
I do too. Okay. So Buzzkill Club, where else can they find you?
On Instagram at Buzzkill Wines. Oh, and then you guys, we're launching onto TikTok Shop.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. We just got picked for this food and beverage incubator program.
Whoa, so
cool.
Yeah, so it's like I'm going through this program right now. It's like an 8-week like class basically where they teach you how to do every part of like selling your brand on TikTok. It is the craziest like stuff I've ever learned in my life.
Wait,
wow.
I feel like we need to like pay you to come teach us.
Yeah.
I'll teach you guys anything you want. Seriously, it is mind-blowingly complicated though. Like I was looking at like the like stuff that they were sending me. I was just like, this is going to be really a lot of work, but like so worth it. Cause like the first email they sent me, it was like, are you ready to do a live and make $140,000 in one live? And I'm like, yeah. Or like,
check.
Yeah. Or like regular $30,000 days. And I'm like, yeah.
Sign me up.
Wait, that's insane.
That's so cool.
It's kind of like you're like going to class again.
Yeah, it's like doing online school, which I wish it was in-person school, because that's the one thing I do really like doing in person was school. Yeah. But whatever, I'll take it. It's all like people on Zoom. Like it's like me and someone with like a chickpea brand, like trying to learn how to TikTok shop work.
You're like,
that's
do you
great.
Are podcasters in this class? I know
some girls.
Okay, should we pivot? So we always like to end the episodes, which I'm sure you know, with some fun questions. Mm-hmm. Just so that our listeners can get to know you. You're single, right? Still?
Yes, still.
Still, well, I mean, like as of last week. I meant like as of last week. Like as of last week, you're single, but you didn't get a boyfriend in the last week, did you?
I did not get a boyfriend in the last week.
You never know.
I'm still single. No, it's a fair question. I've been single for like over 2 years. So yes, it's
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like.
I know, Katie.
I just meant last week you were single. Are you still single? What's your celebrity crush?
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, you knew that right away.
There was,
because look, that's the only person I've ever bought like a t-shirt with their face on it. Like I love him.
I'm dead.
He is married, unfortunately.
Oh, I was gonna say, wasn't he on Kristen Cavallari's podcast, or was that someone else?
that was Bobby Flay.
Oh, Bobby.
Oh yeah, she like had a thing with Bobby Flay, right?
Yeah.
Did she?
I think they denied it, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby Flay, Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
They are the same.
Same thing, yeah. But yeah, definitely am. But wait, I want to sit for a minute on this question because I think it's a fun one.
Who else?
James Franco all the when he was canceled and a weirdo.
Yeah.
He was so good before that, you guys.
Yeah.
I know. I see that.
Me too.
What a letdown, you know?
Yeah. Bummer.
Don't you feel like that's
Bummer.
most guys? What a letdown.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm single still?
You're like, what a letdown. Most.
Anybody else?
Think about this. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think.
All right.
I like those.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what. This isn't a celebrity crush, but they opened a new coffee shop down the street from me that's next to a vintage motorcycle repair shop, and it's like the same owners. You guys, I've never seen a hotter group of men walk in like one after the other. It was like I'm working here every day.
Yes.
You're like, and this is my new coffee shop.
I'm manifesting that for you.
I'm spending hundreds of dollars on
Working
coffee
from here till
Yes,
they close.
it's so good. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Okay. What do you want to say to your mom friends listening that you wish they knew about you?
My mom friends specifically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I have no idea. How do other people answer this question?
I don't know that we've asked this question.
Yeah, this is a new one.
You're first.
That I feel like I'm the biggest oversharer. Like most people know everything about me.
That's why we get along.
Yeah, it is why we get along. Because all we do is overshare in the DMs.
I know.
I don't know. I think I think this is a topic that I've been thinking about quite frequently. I think sometimes there can be tension between like moms and like non-moms about like, maybe we aren't fully understanding each other's experiences or like getting each other's time commitments and all that stuff. I just want to say, as a representative of single childless people, we want to hang out with you. We want to spend time with you. And like, we are willing to like go to your house and do it. So like, don't act like, so just don't act like don't think we don't want to.
Yeah.
I actually just had a sleepover with my best friend from high school 2 weeks ago, who just had a baby a couple months ago because it was like her first weekend that her husband wasn't going to be home. So we had like a girly sleepover and like hung out with her baby and like watched movies. It was so fun. So like I love taking a break from my like single person life to like do things like that.
Yeah. I feel like that's what I was getting at. So moms listening, call up your friends and have them come over.
Yeah, they'll come
over because they want to.
They do want to.
I love that.
We want to.
Okay. Last question. What is your spirit animal?
My dog, probably. My dog, Pippi. She is literally me. She's blonde. She's outgoing. You know, just can be a little bit annoying sometimes. So I would say probably her.
That's amazing.
Persistence.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yes.
This was amazing. We're so excited. We're gonna keep drinking this, and guys, go order some Buzzkill.
Yes, it's nice.
And we're gonna link your Substack too. So that
thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for having me on. You guys are great, and I just wanted to say while you were both here, or all three of you were here, you've done such a great job with this podcast. Like I remember when Katie was like, "I'm doing this thing." It's amazing how far you guys have come.
I know.
Thank
I feel
you.
like you were like a supporter and a cheerer on her from the get-go, and not everyone was that way. So we really,
because I know how hard it is. It's really, really hard to start something. And like at the beginning, when you're just like kind of winging it, like most people aren't brave enough to do that. So like, I think that what you guys are doing is awesome. And I love all your episodes. They're all so funny.
Yeah.
Aw,
We're
and
also
insightful.
cheering you on.
I know. Likewise.
I know. I can't wait to get Bethany back on when she's your investor.
We got to get her. Let's do a joint episode.
Manifesting it.
We're manifesting
Yes, I'm
it, for
manifesting
sure.
it.
I
We'll
love
just
it.
tag her 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
1,000, we will. All right. Well, thank you. Don't hang up, but we're gonna end the episode. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.